Welcome to Media Beat, MediaBistro.com's interview series featuring the biggest names in media. Today I'd like to welcome Adam Ostrow, Editor-in-Chief at Mashable. Welcome, Adam.
Thanks for having me.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Excellent. We'll jump right in. Give us a basic rundown of how Mashable works.
Okay, so Mashable is essentially a blog that covers the social media space. So we cover all the latest developments with Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and increasingly applications that are built to work with those and how brands and organizations are using those tools for their business and their needs. So the way we kind of operate, I'm our editor-in-chief, so I oversee the coverage on the whole, assigning stories to our writers, writing some stuff myself, and we have a variety of inputs. We have a news tip box that gets hundreds of submissions a day. We monitor hundreds of Twitter feeds, RSS feeds, etc. Ultimately, just looking for kind of the coolest things going on in social media and around the web.
Okay. How much content would you say you put out every day?
Generally, somewhere between 25, 35 stories at
Okay.
this point.
And how many writers on average are you calling on to
Sure.
get
So
them?
we have 7 full-time writers and a couple kind of like assistant type folks, and then we also have a guest writer program where we have contributors who are kind of experts in different areas of social media that contribute posts to the site.
And I understand you're hiring an investigative reporter as well. Is that a first for Mashable?
Yeah, I mean, we do some of our own kind of investigative work, but what we really are looking for now is someone who can kind of take it to the next level with kind of getting these unique scoops and stories in the tech and social media space that really can, I think, increase some people's awareness of Mashable and get, obviously a big part of the blogosphere is getting links. So obviously the more big stories you break, the more links you're going to get. So.
And so what's your process for approving content and writers to provide that content for the site?
Sure. So actually, for a long time, I kind of served the role of both assigning, copy editing, doing the whole thing. We recently brought on an editorial assistant who does much of the copy editing. And then ultimately, I kind of have final approval on what goes out on the site, kind of making sure things are accurate, make sense with the type of way we like to spin stories and have the angles we want to pursue and things like that.
So despite the small staff, would you say you operate more like a traditional publication in that sense? I mean, it's sort of traditional in that regard.
Yeah, it's certainly evolved. I mean, when I started with Mashable almost 3 years ago, it was much more kind of, okay, here's the keys, just go publish whenever. But as we've grown, it's really become a bit more of a professional structure where, every post is seen by an editor.
Right. So as social media has grown as, out into the general populace, how has that affected the site? I mean, obviously you cover this stuff, but are you using the same techniques to help your content get out there?
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's kind of almost a perfect storm for us. I mean, we cover the social media space and have been covering it, and then the social media space got really hot. So, when you cover the social media space, people are inclined to share articles. It's just like this whole kind of snowball effect where we cover Twitter, we cover Facebook, we cover YouTube, and then people share our stories on those sites. So we've really developed a strong presence, almost 2 million Twitter followers, 100,000 something Facebook fans. So it's really going nicely.
A perfect storm for growth. Thank you, Adam. That's the first portion of this interview. Check back tomorrow when we will talk more about social media and transparency.